My name is Lindsay.
My name is Lily.
My friends call me Crispy.
My name is Jojo.
My name is Maya Rimmer.
My name is Daniel Suarez.
My name is Rainey Goslin.
My name is Brooke.
My name is Matthew.
And my name is Cynthia.
And this is my story.
I'm a master's student in the chemistry department here at Texas State. I study viruses, and I've had my disability, I want to say, for almost 8 years now. I was a week out of being 18, and I got T-boned by a car, and it almost killed me. And afterwards, I remember being in a lot of pain, and it took them almost a year to figure out the spinal fluid in my brain wasn't draining anymore. And so because it took them so long, it caused me to have color blindness, and now I'm a narcoleptic. So I just sleep all the time. But that means I'm not ever really fully rested. And the IIH, it's very painful, and most pain medications don't do anything. And so if I'm not managed by medication and frequent doctor's visits, I can't function very well, which makes it really hard to live my everyday life sometimes. It was really hard for me originally when I was diagnosed because, like I said, I had just turned 18, and you're about to go into college and you want to have fun and do all of these things, but I wasn't able to anymore. Without the risk of having a stroke or something. And I remember thinking, how am I going to do my chemistry if I can't see some of the colors? And so I actually had to train myself over time to make sure that I could distinctly tell the differences, even if I see them as really dull. It just took a while to figure out how to correctly see them or differentiate between other things. Disability services has been really great in helping me because a lot of times when I'm having a really bad day or a really painful day or a really sleepy day, they've allowed me to adjust my attendance, which is really nice with approval.
The summer before 5th grade, I got a stomach ache, and I didn't think much of it, and then it didn't go away, and then months went by and I still had the stomach ache, and then I started getting medical tests, and I did every medical test there is known to do, and pretty much like every other chronic illness story, I didn't get many answers for a while. My pain spread from my stomach to pretty much everywhere, and I started feeling dizzy all the time, and my joints started hurting and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it wasn't until 4 years later that I got my first diagnosis, which was POTS. POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which basically means that the nerves surrounding the veins don't really work as well. So my second diagnosis was Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which means that my connective tissue, or collagen, is really weak, and the production of it isn't as strong. The stuff holding my joints together is really loose, so my joints dislocate, and it causes other problems too. But whenever I first got the diagnosis, I didn't experience many dislocations, but now I have at least 5 dislocations a day. I've learned to cope, and I've been able to fix my joints myself and stuff. And then with that, I developed chronic pain conditions like fibromyalgia and amplified pain syndrome. My mind is so overwhelmed with my other conditions that it doesn't really know if there's a threat or not. So it sends pain signals to different parts of my body, even if nothing happened to them. So sometimes it can feel like I got slapped in the face, but really nothing happened. But the pain is real. And a lot of doctors have told me that the pain is real, even though there's not an outside force. And that's something that has really helped me. People telling me my pain is real.
It basically starts back in 2008 or 2009 when I was diagnosed with diabetes. And of course, being only about 23 years old, I felt like diabetes was no big deal. I'll be fine. I'm invincible, right? Eventually, that caught up to me when the vision in my left eye suddenly failed completely. Over the next several more years, I just went with one good eye until 2020. The vision in my right eye finally failed. In the moment, it felt very sudden. And all of a sudden, I was left in a position where I couldn't do anything I was used to doing normally. I used to play video games a lot, watch a lot of movies. I could look at my partner's face, I could look at my daughter's face, and now all of that was gone. And when you go blind like that, nobody really tells you what to do. I got the training I needed to relearn how to live my life. I can use my cell phone and tablet. I can use a laptop. I've been trained how to use a white cane so I can get around on my own. So I can do almost anything I was able to do before I lost my vision. After I finish my degree here, I'll probably come back for a master's in legal studies, and then from there, I hope to go to law school and get into civil rights law. And I might not be able to change the world on my own, just by myself, or really make that big of an impact, but I might be able to give a few people a headache who need it.
I have ARFID. ARFID stands for Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder. I was diagnosed around 5 years ago, but I think I've had ARFID my whole entire life. But there was one point where for almost 2 years I didn't eat any solid foods. There was points where I had to be fed through a tube into my nose and in my stomach because I wasn't able to eat food. It's caused a lot of health challenges for me. I have heart problems, I have liver damage, I have hormonal problems, I have a compromised immune system, I have osteoporosis, which means my bones are fragile like glass, and I could break them if I fall on them wrong. I also have gastroparesis, which means my stomach is partially paralyzed and can't process and digest food correctly. So it's been a lot of different diagnoses, a lot of challenges, health challenges along the road. In high school, I was always like the weird kid. People would call me a charity case and say that they were only hanging out with me because I was the sick girl. Well, my freshman year was really hard because I went to Texas State literally 2 weeks after I got discharged from a special hospital I went to in Houston, and I didn't even think I was going to be able to go to college at all. I was really scared because I knew I was probably going to be getting sick a lot. And I did, but I actually was able to, by some miracle, pass all my classes with the help of the dean's office and the Office of Disabilities. And that's like the only reason that I'm still here today. Being here at Texas State, like I'm already a sophomore, and this is the longest I've ever been at a school in my entire life. And I'm even studying to become a park ranger, which everyone told me was going to be impossible because of all my health challenges. But I really don't believe that it's impossible. So I think that you can do anything. Like the only thing stopping you is you.
I was a incoming freshman, and 2 weeks before I moved in, I found out I had ovarian cancer. I had felt abdominal cramps one night, and I had kind of written it off as something bad I ate, and then I had the same abdominal cramps the next night. I was confused, so then I was in so much pain, I wanted to cry, and I asked my mom to take me to the ER, and I had never been to the ER before. And then after the evaluation, the doctor had told me that they think it's a teratoma tumor. Most of them, I want to say 98% of those tumors are benign, and they occur for young women 13 to 30. And it's just something that happens. There's not really anything that's genetic about it. So then she was like, okay, well, we're going to do surgery the next day. They removed it and they sent it off to pathology. It was just something that I guess they do routinely. I was like, okay, it's gone. Woo! Like, I'm going to move to college. It's going to be wonderful. And they were like, well, you need to come now. And for some reason, like, that's kind of when my heart stopped. Is we were driving in and that word cancer just like stood out to me. And I was like, it's bad. It's really bad. So we go up there and she doesn't tell me I have cancer. So I was in denial for a while. She tells me you're going to need chemo. She's like, maybe 6 months, you know, you're going to lose your hair. Like, and that was really rough. I just remember kind of breaking down and wondering like, wow, like I've done everything right in my life. I'm XYZ. I did extracurriculars. I made good grades. I applied to colleges, you know? So I was confused. And it was just so fast. He diagnosed me with ovarian cancer, stage 1A, grade 3. 3 being the highest grade and the most aggressive tumor. My prognosis was overall one of the better prognoses of this cancer because this cancer is so silent and deadly, and that it's not talked about enough, and it's so taboo. It's just so hard to catch early on. So my prognosis was great because I had caught it early. I went to my first 2 weeks of my classes and basically told my professors like, hey, like, this is what's going on. Again, I just want to see if this is a possibility of me staying in your class. I know attendance is required. I just need kind of the support, and I don't know if I'm going to pass these classes, but I want to try. And the professors were just so kind and understanding. I did have a lot of struggles with these heels because I was just so out of breath. I mean, the chemotherapy made me just so winded. My lungs felt like they were going to collapse. So, I mean, these stairs were very intense. So I did use all the ramps that I had to. So after all said and done, I think I had a really great experience with disability services. They like made it work for me. They knew, I told them, I said, this is my deadline. This is when I need the accommodations. I have 2 weeks to get this together and approved, all my medical documents. I need help. Like, I need these accommodations, or these professors aren't going to understand that I'm going through something serious. So in that sense, they got it done within the 2 weeks before I started chemotherapy. So I'm beyond just so grateful for them.
I was diagnosed with only dyslexia when I was in second grade. So it still is kind of a thing where it's hard for me, I guess, to grasp that, like, I'm just not on other people's levels or an even playing field, the best I can describe it. Like in third grade, I told the teacher, like, I want to read that. Like, can I just please grab a book and read it? And she was like, I don't know, might not be able to read it. Are you gonna be okay? I was like, yes, I'm gonna be okay. And I grabbed the book and I'm looking at it and I'm trying to read it, and I just can't. Like, I can't get past the first page. I just could not comprehend all the words. Yeah, I remember I kind of broke down a little bit, crying just a little bit by myself, because I was like, I just not on the level. It was just hard for me to like kind of grasp that concept. Testing, of course, extra time is very useful. Being able to type on the computer for, like, especially as a history major, there's always a lot of, for exams, there's always a lot of writing based. So that's really helped a lot. Also, professors giving me their PowerPoints, if they have PowerPoints, and also using a recording device to record lectures, because I missed a lot of things with auditory processing when people were telling me stuff.
I have severe depressive disorder and PTSD. It really stemmed from lack of parental figures. Like, I had them, but it was really me raising myself. I actually ended up becoming a dropout of high school. And a good part of my life was spent in and out of mental hospitals and in and out of homes. I'm good now. I have a really caring family at home. They even took my dog in that's stayed with me somehow throughout all of this. For like depression, it's different for everyone. Not everybody has the same signs, but I wasn't eating enough, I wasn't sleeping enough, or I was sleeping too much. later to come find out I couldn't really sleep because I was having episodes every time I tried to sleep. And it happens when I'm awake too. I later got diagnosed with PTSD. Normally for PTSD, like even a single word will trigger you, or somebody gives you a look and then you go off on the rails in your head. A big part of it is that people don't seem to understand that PTSD can come from anywhere. War veterans, they talk about flashbacks to the war, and I was like, how does that work? And then I had one. I was awake and I was looking at my phone, and then I got a flashback. It was like being teleported in your mind. I was back at a house I had previously been in. I texted on the phone, I want to go home. And I snapped out of it, and I was back where I was with my current family. So that's a pretty big telltale sign of PTSD, but it's kind of hard to like register after the fact, because you like can't tell if you were awake or asleep, and then you know it's in your head, and for some people it's hard to speak up about because you don't want people to think you're crazy. Texas State's been pretty great. Last semester was still hard for me because I'm still getting used to it, but I think I got it this semester. I found my love for film, so I got lucky and I know what I want to do. So I want to take film and bring more awareness to mental health. Definitely use the therapy sessions. I know the consultation one's free on the get-go. It's always good to book it, and they'll let you talk to them for a while. And then after the whole session, they'll give you a bunch of recommended resources, including free ones. You have to learn about yourself and other things that really affect you in the moment. The hardest part is realizing when it's happening.
In high school, I was kind of creative, but I had already started abusing substances and losing motivation. So my creativity kind of died eventually, which continued for about 3 years. And I took 2.5 years off of school during that time. And then I had the psychosis episode. I got diagnosed with bipolar, and I've been back and forth between some different places to get therapy. They worked with me in realizing that the diagnosis I previously had didn't feel fitting. So we have bipolar presenting with mania for now, and we'll figure out what type on a longer timeline once they've gotten to know me better. And I don't necessarily feel that I need to be diagnosed to gain the supports I need, because Texas State is full of a community of humans who listen. And humans who listen don't need a label to tell them how to treat you. After about a year of really feeling like I was trudging through life and school and everything and continuing to fail and try again over and over, I realized that I found a place. Somehow, along all this trudging, there's a community here, and there's things that I'm excited to learn, and that I'm motivated to learn, and that I see a future for in my life, and what I can do with that knowledge that I gain to turn it into something impactful to the world. And I wouldn't have found that without failing so many times.
I have high functioning autism, which I often have trouble paying attention in class, focusing on my schoolwork, and I'm mostly doing other stuff, but unfortunately I can't really focus too much because my autism is trying to slow everything down. I was previously diagnosed at the age of 4. By then I was I was nonverbal until I was 5 or 6 years old. By then I had occupational therapy from 2009 or 10 all the way until my 2020. A total 10 years of my therapy sessions. With my autism, I'm kind of doing a very rough time getting my grades up. which unfortunately I tried my best, but with all the other stuff going on in my life, I'm having so much trouble getting all that done. Bobcat Rise, it's a 4-year disability program at TXSt State, we help students with disabilities, and we have like own dorms together, and we also get support from our Bobcat Rise advisors. They provided me skills, strengths, and resources about how to achieve success in my classes. It's kind of lonely because you don't see a lot of people with disabilities at some places, at some colleges.
I had just started 7th grade, and out of nowhere, I was just in so much pain, like I couldn't do anything at all. And it felt like I bruised my bone, which I wasn't sure if that was even possible. That's just what it felt like. And eventually I had to have surgery. They didn't realize until they opened me up that the bone had detached from my foot, and it was like moving around. And it was obviously irritating my nerves, which is what was causing so much pain. So they had to they had to remove the part that had come out and then shave down the rest of it and then reattach the tendon to the correct part of the bone. And they said like surgery went well and everything was good. And I did physically recover fine. I was just in a lot of pain from that, and no one really knew why. And they were like, oh, it's probably just like nerve pain, it'll go away. And it never went away. Then it spread. So it started at my left foot, and then it kind of moved up my left leg and then kind of mirrored to my right leg. And then it spread from there. So I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome. I want to say like 8 months later, they went in and did another nerve block, but this time into my spine to get to my central nervous system. That also didn't work. The surgery went fine and everything, but when I woke up with a migraine. And I've had a migraine every day since then. No one really knows why. It's just been there all the time. So I have migraines with auras. So I see colors, patterns, spots, movements. I started shaking, and I didn't really know why, but it was like full convulsions. Like it looked like I was having a seizure, but it wasn't. Like I was fully conscious. Along with the nerve pain and the migraines and the shaking, I would kind of just like collapse. Like it was like I was passing out, but I was still conscious and awake, and like I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, but I could still hear what was going on. And it was like almost as if I was asleep. Kind of ended up getting diagnosed with POTS and narcolepsy at the same time. I kind of attributed the shaking to POTS because that is one of the symptoms, but I also kind of noticed that they were kind of separate. Like the things that triggered the POTS could trigger the shaking, but not always, and vice versa. And I finally saw my neurologist, and he was like, yeah, that's functional neurologic disorder. I came to TXSt State. I got set up with disability services, and I've loved it. It's been absolutely amazing. I don't think I could have made it this far without disability services. It's been amazing. As far as like classes and things go, I've had very few issues with professors. Honestly, the most issue I've had is like if the structure of the class doesn't really fit, me having to leave or things like that. But outside of that, it's been really great. My advice to someone else going through a similar journey is to take it one day at a time. And I think a big part of my story that could help others is to advocate for yourself, for your health, for your accommodations that you need from a day-to-day. I think it's so important. I mean, no one is you. No one knows what you feel inside and what your needs are. I don't think I would be able to do it without TXSt State.
I guess the guidance would be just like, yeah, if you have a disability, or even if you think you have it, just go to ODS and just register and see if you'll get approved for anything. I mean, it's worth a shot,
I don't really think any disability should stop you from doing what you really want to do. And, for others probably struggling with these kinds of things, all I can say is persevere. You got to keep going. If you let everything get to you, then you won't get anything done, because I felt like my world was ending. And it's not true. It's not ending, right? And now I get to play with aerosol viruses all the time. And my research finally got funded by the NIH, which is really cool, so that I can still attend and then hopefully do my PhD in the future. So you just, talk to other people, seek out assistance. And it's okay to push yourself, but make sure you take care of yourself too, because I think as college students, we really, really forget to take care of ourselves.
You can always achieve your dreams if you work hard enough. It doesn't matter like what, limitations that you have, because I just don't let those limitations stop me from doing what I want.
And I'm really so happy to have the opportunity to tell people that you're not alone. And there's days that I show up when I really don't want to, and I'm half an hour late or an hour late. It's better late than never. And there's people on campus who are there to listen to you. If you just reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling. If you just show up to Office of Disabilities and say, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I know I need you. Things are manageable without disability services. But things don't have to only feel like they're being managed. Things can be easier. School is supposed to be hard. There's going to be things that are challenging, and that's what's exciting about it. And that's how I know I'm doing something that really matters, because I'm feeling really challenged. But I don't have to feel so challenged. There are supports available for making my deadlines happen and making sure that I am able to communicate with my professors. And as long as I'm communicating with disability services, I can get accommodations. And as long as I have those accommodations, I can decide to use them.
I was going to say a closing thought that try to be proud of who you are at Texas as a college student, no matter where you're from. Be proud of who you are.